In this video, we're going to talk about that voice in your head, that voice that sometimes says you can't do it, you're not good enough. That part of you, that voice that stops you from doing what you want. Now, this is a very simple technique that I'll be teaching you on this video, and you can use it with other people, you can use it on yourself. So if you're one of these people who has limiting beliefs that says you can't do things and you're not as good as everybody else, just watch this video. If you are in the business of being a coach, being a therapist, working in the NHS and basically helping other people, this is a very simple technique for you to use just to help them pretty well instantly to change the way they feel about something and change that inner voice, that thing that comes in. My name is Piers Day and I'm an NLP and hypnosis trainer. I've been working in the business for about 20 years and have helped thousands of people and trained a good many hundred people over the years in my way of using hypnosis and NLP in their practice. So let's look at that voice, that bubble that goes off sometimes, that thought. I must do this. Oh, don't do it because you're not good enough. I want to be as good as someone else. I want to do something. No, don't. You're not good enough. And it's what Richard Bandler, who is one of the co-creators of NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, as Richard says in some of his videos, he said, he just says to his voice, shut the fuck up! Now, apologies for swearing, but I'm quoting somebody else. And he will basically tell that voice inside his head to go away because he wants to do something. Now, he'd been practicing this for many, many years, a lot longer than I have. And he has this voice really well trained. So the simple way of doing it is just to follow these simple instructions. When you hear that voice, just freeze it for a second and say, whose voice is that? Is it my voice? Or is it a voice from someone in my past? And just sit there for a second, maybe close your eyes and say, okay, whose voice is it? If it's not mine, whose is it? And the majority of the time you'll find that it is your own voice. And it comes from some limiting belief, something you've been told in your past that you're not as good as somebody else, or maybe some bad experiences. But don't worry about that. Let those go for the moment. And then I want you to just to play around with the sound of the voice. And think of somebody that you cannot be serious about. Whether it's a character from the television, whether it's a character from a film, or whatever it is. Just change that voice into something like Homer Simpson. Because if Homer Simpson was to try and be serious with you, you couldn't take him seriously. So change that, you're not as good as so-and-so, just change it to Homer Simpson. And then play around with what we call the submodalities, the little bits of that voice. Just turn it up or down to make it less powerful. Play around with the graphic equalizer, make it more bassy or make it more trebly. And then imagine Homer Simpson or whoever saying it to you. And take that image and then make it grey and grainy like an old photograph or an old cine film. And then make it get so grainy that it begins to fall to pieces, and then just shrink it down. Shrink it down until it becomes the size of a piece of sand, a grain of sand. And as it goes to a grain of sand, hold it here in your fingers. And then imagine you're on a beach. And as you walk down the beach, you pick that grain of sand up and you flick it away. And that grain of sand lands in front of you somewhere on that beach. And on that beach, there are probably billions and billions, I don't know how many grains of sand there are, but there are several billion grains of sand. Then the sea comes in and just washes over where you think it may have fallen, and you'll never find that voice again. And then I want you to go to the second part of this. Very simple. Think of somebody who you really respect, somebody who really excites you. Some people say it's some lady or gentleman from the film screen that has a particular voice. Some people say that it's their own voice. Some people say it's someone who they really admire, maybe their boss, maybe a guru, a Tony Robbins or something like that. But just imagine them saying the opposite with what that horrible little voice was before. And say, you are good enough. You can do this. And then take that picture and blow it up. blow it up, make it bigger and bigger and bigger. This person telling you all the stuff and giving you all the resources of you feeling really good about yourself, and yes, you can do this. And as that figure gets bigger and bigger and bigger, put onto a big screen in front of you, and then ask you a few simple questions. If I move that screen towards me or away from me, is it going to make it more powerful? Yes, great. Do whatever you need to do. If I make the scene more colourful or whatever, will that make it more powerful? Yes, it will. Good. Make it as powerful as you like. Make it bright as you like or dark as you like to make it the most powerful. And now go to the sound. If we turn the volume up, is it going to make it more powerful? Yes, great. Turn the volume up to whatever level that makes it the most compelling picture. If we change the frequency of the sound, if we make it warmer or quieter, if we make it slower or faster, if we change the pitch, and you start breaking it down into the minute details to make the sound the best it can possibly be. And then the feelings. What feeling do I get from it? Let's turn the feelings up. And we're playing around with what we call in the NLP world the submodalities of the picture, the finer detail, the barcode, so to speak, of that picture, and then make it really big and then just bring it in. And I want to put it in here, just there, at the front of your mind. And from there, it will wire in to your ears. From there, it will wire in straight down to your heart and your chest and your stomach. So if you imagine that energy now is going to here, so you can hear it easy. It's going into your mind, because it's at the front of your mind, so it's echoing back. It's also going through to your body. It's going into your heart, it's going into your chest, it's going into your stomach. Or wherever you need it, you can put it from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes or the soles of your feet. Whichever. But just allow that new energy, that new way to come into your life. And as soon as you do that, your attitude changes, because what you hear and what you think changes your reality, changes your ability, changes your actions, changes your beliefs. So what we're doing very simply is taking the I can't do it, shrink, get rid of. I can do it. Yeah, Piers, you're wonderful. You can do this. Yeah, obviously, you're not called Piers, but whoever you say your name, yes, I can do this. And if it's somebody else, get them using your name, because it becomes more powerful when you do that. Yeah. Now, this is just a very simple technique. You'll learn lots of other techniques like this when you come, or if you come on a course with me, or look back on some of my YouTubes, playing with the submodalities, and very simple 2-minute, 30 seconds, whatever techniques, just to change the way you think, feel and behave. And if you haven't done already, you might like to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell, because a new video goes up every Friday. Sometimes we're going to be looking at techniques to help people, whether it's to help them to feel better about themselves, and techniques that I will teach you to help other people. Other times I'll be interviewing people who are at the top of their professions and seeing how they use some of these techniques in helping others and helping them climb that ladder to get where they've got to today.